He asked me to stay the night, but when I saw a portrait of myself dated 1924 hanging in his hallway, I realized I'd been here before. When I agreed to spend the weekend in a secluded countryside manor with Daniel, a man I'd been dating for just 3 months, I thought it was simply romantic. He was charming, intelligent, and just mysterious enough to make my heart race. We met through a quiet book club in London, where he'd always choose Gothic novels and look at me like he'd seen me somewhere before. His family owned an estate in Wiltshire, he said, tucked deep within the woods, untouched since the early 1900s. When he invited me there one chilly October Friday, something about the way he said, "You'll feel right at home," made my stomach flutter. The manor was enormous, stone-bricked and ivy-covered, with tall windows like watching eyes. It smelled of wood smoke, lavender, and a past that refused to die. That night, as I wandered the dimly lit hallways, the kind filled with creaking floorboards and portraits whose eyes follow, I saw her. Hanging halfway up the staircase in a gilded gold frame was a painting titled Evelyn Hargrave, 1924, and it was me. Same face, same eyes. Even the small mole on the side of my neck. I froze, breath catching in my throat. The portrait woman wore a pale green dress, hair curled in 1920s fashion, and stood in front of the very same house I was in. Who is this? I asked Daniel at dinner, trying to keep my voice steady. He looked up slowly. My great-grandmother, he said softly, though we never knew much about her. She disappeared mysteriously. The portrait's all we have. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept waking up, certain someone was standing at the edge of the bed. Every time I turned, there was no one. But at 3:11 a.m., I heard music playing from the hall, a crackling gramophone melody, old and slow. I followed it barefoot in my nightgown, heart pounding, until I reached the study. And there, standing by the fireplace, was Evelyn. Me, or someone who looked exactly like me, in the same green dress from the portrait. She looked at me, smiled sadly, and said, "You came back too soon this time?" I screamed, but she was gone. The next morning, Daniel acted like nothing had happened, making tea and humming an old tune I knew I'd heard before, though I didn't know where. When I confronted him, he finally confessed, "You've been here before. You've lived here before. You died here before." I thought he was mad, but then he showed me the journals, dozens of them, hidden in a box beneath the floorboards of the attic. Each journal had a name scribbled in the corner, Evelyn H. Inside were drawings of me, charcoal sketches dated 1920, 1943, 1968. All women with my face, and all entries ended the same way. She drowned again. Daniel looked into my eyes and whispered, "Every lifetime you find your way back here, and every lifetime you die in the lake." My hands trembled. "Why don't I remember?" I asked. He said, "Because I do." "You never get to remember." "Only I do." I tried to leave that day, but the road was flooded, not just wet, but sunken into the earth. Like the woods didn't want me to leave. That night, I found Evelyn's green dress laid out on the bed. No one had been in the room, but me. In the mirror, I saw myself wearing it, even though I wasn't. When I blinked, it was gone. Daniel begged me to stay. He said this time could be different. He'd learned more, studied rituals, energy shifts. "We can break it," he said, but I no longer knew if I trusted him or myself. On the third night, I followed a dream lake. Pull into the woods. The trees opened to reveal a black lake, still silent, waiting, and I knew. This was where Evelyn had died. This was where I died. As I stepped closer, I saw a reflection in the water, but it wasn't mine. It was hers. She mouthed the words, "Don't let him do it again." I turned and saw Daniel standing behind me, holding something, a locket. He opened it, and inside was a photo of us from 1922 in front of the manor, smiling like newlyweds. "You always come back to me," he whispered, voice shaking, "but you always leave." I screamed, ran, slipped, and fell into the water. Cold, black, choking. Then I woke up in the guest bed, gasping. Daniel rushed in. "You're safe," he said. "It didn't happen this time." But when I looked in the mirror, my skin was pale, my hair damp, and the locket was around my neck. He never put it there. And I finally asked, "What if this time I leave before it begins?" He went silent. Then he said, "You were never supposed to remember." I packed my bags, but the car wouldn't start. The phone had no signal. And somewhere in the hall, Evelyn's portrait was missing. In its place now was a new one, the same green dress, same woman. But now she was holding a baby, my baby, and suddenly I remembered everything.